evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is Josh, and that man to my right is Mr. William H.D. Morgan. If you
how y'all doing tonight? Let's do this thing, guys.
So we are here to talk this wonderful world that we call wrestling, and as it never fails, it has not been a quiet week in the world of wrestling. We're gonna jump right in to the news. And we're actually, so this is gonna roll into my question. As I was telling Will, my question this week is pretty similar to last week. Biggest bit of news: NXT. They released 13 wrestlers on Saturday.
One of them I ain't mad at.
There's a few I'm not mad at that I understand that I think can, and we're going to talk about this too, because of the 42 wrestlers that WWE has released so far this year, only 2 of them have been signed by AEW. Mm-hmm. What people fail to remember on AEW is AEW is a tier system. There are several wrestlers that you've seen come in to do matches that are not contracted to AEW. They have not been signed. They are getting paid per match. So not everybody that is getting released is showing up in AEW. But the list so far, or the list for Saturday, is Bobby Fish, Bronson Reed, Jake Atlas, Ari Sterling, Kona Reeves, Leon Ruff, Steven Smith, Tyler Russ, Zachary Smith, Asher Hale, Giant Zangier, and the one he's not mad about, Mercedes Martinez.
Nope.
Because we all know Will is not a fan.
She'll just go back to the indies and be the most protected woman in all of the indie scene. I swear, man. Can't stand Mercedes, man.
The ones I'm frustrated about: Bobby Fish.
I feel you on that. Bronson Reed. Got you on that. Why did he just promote it? Or
he had their mid-card title.
Yeah.
Then he went and debuted on SmackDown and then got released. And then the other one, now I hate the name they gave him. In WWE was Ari Sterling. He's Alex Zane. Mm-hmm. I'm a huge fan of Alex Zane. I loved what he did in CZW and GCW. I think this is good for him. He was never going to get past 205 Live. That's all he was doing. He was never going to go further than that. Him, Kona Reeves, Jake Atlas, all could benefit from going and doing some developmental. Learning some more. And
I like Jake Atlas's potential, though.
Yeah, I agree. And the same thing with Ari Sterling. The ones that I feel like showed and never got the shot. Bobby fucking Fish, man.
Yeah.
Bobby fucking Fish.
Yeah. But you know what, though? I do sort of kind of see Vince's side of it with the way he didn't make money during COVID. So I sort of kind of see it, but at the same point, man, come on.
So, as I said, 42 people released from WWE in 2021 so far. I'm just going to move right into this, and we're going to still be doing news, but so here's my question.
Mm-hmm.
Does everybody believe me now?
Oh, wow. Oh, I thought about you. When I saw that list, I thought about you. And it's like, Josh might be on to something. He might be on to something. Yeah.
You might be on
something. Yeah.
I'm telling you right now.
They're getting rid of every big contract.
They're getting rid of all these big contracts. Any big contract that has been signed, or they're going to bring them back into I'm sorry, this is textbook getting ready to sell a company.
Yes.
And there's more to this. NXT supposedly is getting totally repackaged. They're doing away with TV, doing away with pay-per-views, is the rumor, going back to a strictly developmental younger talent.
I got an issue with that. But
I don't believe
I don't believe it.
To me, the only way that is happening is if there is a sale on the horizon. Mm-hmm. That's the only way. I don't see the work that Triple H has put into NXT to let them do that to it.
Right.
I've heard rumor that it's to get him ready to move up into Vince's spot, but I don't believe that either because I just feel like Triple H would fight to get Shawn to take over.
Right.
Triple H has mapped out his 5 and 10 year plans for NXT. So I will still see what happens. They have a takeover plan for SummerSlam.
Takeover? Oh, yeah.
And so we'll see what happens there. I don't know if I believe that. I just don't. That is a huge revenue for them. In times it rival. Now I will say it hasn't been as good since they went to a 2-hour format. Since they went to USA, it hasn't been as good as it was the first 6 years. But it's still better than Raw.
Yeah. By far, Raw's trash. Raw's just straight trash. They just give you anything, to fill that 3-hour time slot. Nothing over there is making sense.
So, they're gonna sell. That's the only thing that works in my mind. And I've been explaining this to random people just because, people don't realize the weight of the fact that Vince McMahon gave away his library. He sold his library. The one thing that Vince has always wanted is total control of WWE content. The network was exactly what he wanted. Right. To the fact that they announced it a year early, announced it too early. It took another 2 years for it to actually launch. Mm-hmm. And it still took time to build. And it was another 2 years after that before it was actually a pretty good system.
Yep.
And for the fact for him to sell the network and all that content here in the United States, that to me was the first sign because it was so un-Vince. Vince is, yes, he's about the money. And I realize he made a huge amount of money on that sale. But to me, that was the start because the only way he sells to NBC is if the NBC is also getting ready to buy this company.
Yeah.
And that to me is exactly who it's going to. If you look, I've been watching the Olympics. Every time there's a Peacock commercial, an NBC tagline, WWE is mentioned. And everything that is happening, everything.
And I just think too, if the rumors are about NXT, then instead of them outsourcing stuff, you just let NXT be your true developmental, not going to OVW or anything like that. You just let that be your developmental and go from there. But yeah, I'm seeing your light now. I'm seeing what's going, on the horizon. And you brought it up. You said it. He's selling, and it seems like that's what he's doing.
And I realize to wrestling fans, that's a mind-blowing thing because we never thought Vince would ever give up WWE as much as he's fought for it. But, it still blows me away. To me, it always was going to be Stephanie and Trips. Stephanie and Trips would run that business. But maybe they're also tired of it too. You got to remember, they've both been doing this their entire lives.
You can't have burnout.
Literally been working on screen since she was 17 years old and started working behind the scenes at the same time and has never stopped. Where her brother Shane, and this is another thing, Shane went and took another job. He's no longer going to be available to be on. So that to me is another sign.
He's selling.
They're planning out different things. It's to me.
You think it might be another NWO situation, Trips running WWE, and you have Shawn Michaels running NXT?
I think you could do that. It's not the same thing. Triple H has shown that he has an amazing mind for the business. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking about this the other day. if WWE's full does get sold and he does not stay involved, do you think he ends up working in AEW in some way, shape, fashion, something? Because I can't, and I would know. I agree with you, I do. But this is why I say this. What is the man gonna do?
Well, see, that's it.
He has no. I mean, yeah, I guess he could work in television, maybe.
But see, that's the thing you have to remember. Vince has been doing this for the longest, and he's probably tired of running the day by day.
Oh no, Vince is done.
He's done.
Pitbull's been saying his mental is going. He's just not there.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about Triple H.
Okay.
This is Triple H. And I agree with you. I think him showing up in AEW in any fashion is a long shot.
Long shot.
But the thought is what else does he have? His talent, his thing is wrestling. It's what he knows. It's what he's done his entire life.
Yep.
Now, unless he is going to fully retire and just live off his riches, which he totally could. Totally could.
Yep.
And God bless the man if he does. But a guy like Triple H, who's been literally working his entire life, and Tripp's schedule is not any much lighter than like Vince's.
Right.
So I don't think he is able to give that up. And I could be wrong.
I don't think he would either. Yeah, I can't see it either. Like I said, I can see him running it and Shawn Michaels running NXT. I think Shawn would be a perfect replacement for him at NXT. He knows the business. He's good with developmental talent too. So I got to give Shawn.
Seems to me, and Shawn might stay in that role, but from what it seems to me, Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, Vince McMahon are not going to have anything to do with running WWE. I think that is going to be solely to Nick Khan once they sell to NBC.
Yeah, I'll be interested. That'll be interesting.
And I still say we've got 4 months left in this year, and I still say by the end of this year we will be talking about a WWE sell.
Or it could happen. Or it could happen. Or it could happen first quarter next year. Because you're looking at January.
In January, it could. I still say in the next 6 months.
He is prominent. Right. He is prominent to get ready to sell.
So before we go to our commercial break and come back for our interview with Mr. Luke Kurtis, we got a new segment that we've added this week. All right. So as we said when we kind of revamped the show, we wanted to bring in some new segments. I really want to talk about coming up matches and matches that have happened prior in the week. We'll introduce the matches of next week in a couple of weeks. But for this one, there wasn't a real match. Other than I do want to highlight the way. Did you go and look the Malachi Black Cody Rhodes match?
No,
did you watch clips of it? Dude, they actually did what we said.
Really?
Yes, Malachi, it was a squash match. Malachi destroyed Cody to the point that Cody was retiring in the ring.
Wow.
He literally was giving a retirement speech.
Wow, that's amazing.
And he beat the living. It was I've seen memes of Mortal Kombat flawless victory. He beat the shit out of Cody. Cody did not land a single thing. They did exactly what they needed to. But the match I chose for this, because of the history behind it with these two, is Chris Jericho versus Juventud Guerrero. It was labor number 4 or labor number 3 in the Labors of Jericho. Okay, let's just get into it right here. Neither of these guys are what they used to be. Let's just say that right then and there. Everybody was excited. I've heard a lot of criticism, some positives, some negatives on this match. Everybody was excited for it, but people weren't realizing that it's not the guys from 20 years ago.
Right. It's not your prime guys in WCW Cruiserweight.
I don't even know if Hoovy has been wrestling. I don't even know if the man has been wrestling. So, and I love Chris, but if anybody saw it, they announced the commentators for Rampage starting this Friday, and it was Chris. Excalibur, Taz, and there's a fourth. There's a fucking fourth. Oh, Mark Henry.
Okay.
So it's a 4-man, which some people are bitching about, but
normally 2.
AEW has a 3, unless it's Darker Elevation. They like Dynamite has 3, and they constantly add in someone for a 4th.
Okay.
They can make it work. I think this right here, Chris Jericho commentating weekly on Rampage, is the start of him moving out of the role.
Yeah.
I think he's going to lose. I think the stipulation for Labor number 5 when he faces MJF is going to be to retire, and I think he loses that match.
Oh yeah.
It's time. I love Jericho. Like GOAT. Like he is definitely on that list of GOATs. He's on the list of GOATs who weren't supposed to be GOATs but are GOATs.
Right.
Like he scratched, nailed, and we've talked about changing his persona so many times to just constantly make it work. Yeah. And so he's amazing, but his time in the ring is up. He's not as good as he used to be. He's definitely showing his age. He's been doing this for 30 years. But this match was good. One thing I didn't know until they threw it up after is that Jericho is 17-6-1 against Juventud Guerrero.
Damn, that's domination.
How is that a rivalry when he literally
That's domination.
Yeah, like that's a dominant rivalry.
Damn. But you know, they did go heavy at it in WCW though. They were going heavy at it in WCW.
Yeah, but Hoovy only won 6 times.
He only won 6 times. Yeah. But in Hoovy's defense, I mean, you didn't know it then like you know it now. But Jericho is a Hall of Famer.
Oh,
so
God,
to even get one in Hoovy's favor is good.
When AEW hits 5 years, which is coming sooner than people realize. It's only like 2 or 3 years away at this point. They will open a Hall of Fame, and I guarantee you, Chris Jericho is the first one they induct. Like, there's no one else that deserves it in that company than him.
Great.
So, on a scale of 1 to 5 on this match, I would have given it like 2.5, 3 stars, somewhere in that range. It wasn't great. Jericho had to win with a move off the top rope, and he just did the Judas effect, which is just his elbow.
I'm shocked he can still get up there like that.
I mean, he did it. So that's the match of the week. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to dive right into our interview with Mr. Luke Kurtis. We talk about who he was when he was a fan when he was a kid, how he got into the business, his relationship with Leila Gray, and all kinds of stuff. It was a really interesting interview. This episode's going to run a little long because this interview is a little long, and then we went a little long. So stick with us, enjoy it, and guys, y'all have a great rest of your week. We will see y'all next week. All right, gotta pull it up.
To the left of me.
All right, guys. So those were Double XP. You can catch that Wednesday, 7 Central, 8 Eastern with K and Punisher. Geek Gauntlet, you can catch that on Will Morgan's Twitch every Saturday, 9 Central, 10 Eastern, on PinFall platforms on Tuesday morning. Then First Gen Dads, you can catch that with Will Morgan and Tony Mr. 7 on Thursdays, 9 Central, 10 Eastern. And then a really good podcast, you can catch that with me and Kay every other Tuesday. This Tuesday, however, make sure you check out Drop the Mic podcast. We'll be me and Pun talking about music, talking about everything that involves around music. This week we'll be talking about our musical tastes and how they formed, all that shit. So make sure you check that out. But right now, here is our interview with Mr. Luke Kurtis, Certified Luke Kurtis, as he corrects me in the very beginning of this interview. So enjoy this, guys. All right, guys, and we are here, and we're going to waste no time. We're going to bring in our guest of the evening. He is the blue-haired cowboy, Luke Kurtis.
It was an okay introduction, but I mean, I'm not really using the blue-haired cowboy anymore. It wasn't that to begin with. It was the outlaw, Josh. So if we're going to continue this podcast before I turn it off right now, can you go ahead and reintroduce me? It's Certified Luke Kurtis.
I'm sorry. Do I need to call you down? No. It is the Certified Luke Kurtis.
Beautiful. Much better. Thank you. You should, you know what? You should try out for the WWE announcer thing. They might take you, brother. They might take you after that one.
I mean, oh, man. That was very WWE. That was I can't argue with that one. Luke,
man.
We are very happy to have you. We appreciate you joining us tonight. We know you've been extremely busy on the indie scene, just killing it out there. First thing I want to dive into is what got you into wrestling? Were you a fan growing up?
Well, we could go way back. Let's start from when I was a young man. In high school, not even high school, way before that. Elementary school, middle school, even when I was younger, preschool. I was getting in fights a lot when I was a young man, and my mom was she felt like I needed an outlet. So she put me in wrestling, amateur wrestling. I was already a big wrestling fan, pro wrestling. I loved Eddie Guerrero, Chris Jericho, John Cena. All these guys were influencing me, and I was watching wrestling, and I thought, hey, I'm going to be an awesome wrestler. And my mom said, hey, you know what? You want to be a wrestler? I'm going to take you down to the local YMCA, and you're going to be a wrestler. So, she takes me in there, and it's just a little blue mat on the floor on a gym basketball court, and then they said, hey, go out there and wrestle. And that's where I really started this journey of becoming a wrestler. And I didn't know it then, but wrestling was a big part of my life all the way throughout high school. When I graduated from high school, I got into MMA. I trained at this place called American Top Team in Kendall. Did mixed martial arts there for a while. And then I got a little off course. I started drinking. I picked up a lot of bad habits. And my life changed, and wrestling was forgotten. Combat sports were forgotten, and it was only my dream in life to be a professional athlete, to be a fighter, to be a warrior, because that's what I have been my whole life. And that's really what I could relate to, because it wasn't like I was a musician. I couldn't sing, I couldn't write, I couldn't draw, I couldn't color, I couldn't do any of those things very well, but I could always get on that mat and I could pin somebody. So that was really my motivation growing up. And then when I fell away from that, I was depressed, and I was a very outgoing person still. I would always introduce myself. I was very fun to be around. I could be the life of the party, but deep down inside, there was something missing. I had gotten fat. I had hair down to my ass, super long hair. I had a giant beard. When Leila met me, that's how I was, as a matter of fact. She was a bartender. I was a drinker. I was going in every day, drinking as much as I could drink, going to work. I was a mechanic. And we started to develop a relationship. And I remember when I met her, she had done this magazine and she had written in it that any secret thing that you want the fans to know or something. And she put, I wanted to be a professional wrestler. I used to want to be a professional wrestler. I kind of still do. And I was like, what the hell? Like, you want to be a professional wrestler? And we had never really spoken about it after that. So it was like we had been together for all this time. We never talk about my amateur wrestling background. We never talk about her wanting to be a pro wrestler. But it was always something that she was looking into. And one day she had found a school. You know, how do you get into this business? So you find a local professional wrestling school. And she had found one. And she had gone by there one time while I was working or whatever I was doing. And she had spoken to the trainer for a while. You know, he really wanted her to come there. You know, she's a beautiful girl. He think he can make a lot of money off of her. So, hey, why don't you come down to the school? You could bring your boyfriend because, you know, that's how you get me in the door. You get her in the door. You bring her man. Everybody's happy. Let's go have a great, you know, wrestling training. And eventually I didn't want to do it. I was lazy. I was just eating pizza every day, eating cookies, watching TV. And she got me to go down there, and she'll tell you, as soon as we walked out that first day of training, I told her I'm going to the WWE. And I believe that in that moment. I still believe it till this day that this is what I was destined to do, because as soon as my feet touched the mat and I felt the ring squeak, I just knew that I was back in my element. And after all this time, after this year and a half of being in the business, I've cut down my weight. My body's gotten better. I improve every single day. And I'm just motivated. I'm driven to make this happen. And I'm back to my roots. I missed a part of my life, I feel like, when I was doing other things. And wrestling has taken me back to almost when I graduated high school. And I feel rejuvenated. And I have this youthfulness and this life in me. And I just know that I have finally found what I'm supposed to do. And I have been groomed to do this my whole life. I started wrestling when I was 5 years old. I've traveled all over the United States wrestling, national tournaments, state tournaments. I used to have 150 medals. I would put them around my neck and walk around on my medals from the wrestling tournaments that I had won because I had gotten so good. but I fell away, and now I'm back. And that's really how I got into the business. And it's been going strong ever since.
And
it's a long version.
I'm going to backtrack. He name dropped a former guest on this show that we love. We're huge fans of, Miss Leila Gray. This is the significant other of Leila Gray. We heard about you when we interviewed her. Now we're hearing about her when we interviewed you.
Yes,
now,
yes.
Not just that, though. Like, I wanted to dive into this. Y'all are a wrestling couple as well as mixed tag partners. So
yes.
Dive into that a little bit. What is it like? Because, I mean, y'all got to spend a lot of time together. I realize y'all are traveling to separate bookings a lot, probably. But there's got to be a lot.
We mostly stay together for the most part. We only do about 1 or 2 bookings a month separate, probably. You know,
it's pretty good.
Even when she does AEW, which I'm not a part of AEW, I still drive her there, you know, and drop her off. And I train in the area, or I do what I need to do in that area. Like, that's how much we're together. So everywhere that we go, it's us and the dog. We throw our dog in the car and we go on the road and we take off and we hit our bookings. No matter who has a show, the other person usually tries to be there to at least support and bounce ideas off of each other. And people need help all the time. I always, you know, there's a lot of people in the business that are opinionated, and not everybody's opinion is a good one, but I know that there's one that I can trust, and it's hers. So having her there, having her watch my matches is very valuable to me, because I know that when I get in the car on the way home, I can get us on an honest opinion when I say, hey, what did you think of the match? So
talk about what it's like having your partner there 100% of the time, because even people who work in the same field don't always experience that all the time. Like you said, bounce ideas off of, and y'all not only work together, but y'all do matches together as a mixed tag team. And in today's day in wrestling, you don't see that as much as you would think you would.
And I've also heard that from a few people that you know, or even, you know, whenever we have a match together, I'm very proactive in how I like to put things together. And especially for her too, you know, like, you know, the last match that we had together, I made sure that she was in the ring a lot, putting in a lot of work, kicking a lot of ass, because I feel like that's important. It's a tag. It's a unit. It's a team. And even guy tag team wrestlings, a lot of the times they don't work like a team anymore. Guys just get in there and they're like, hey, I'm going to do what I got to do to make myself look good, to try and get over. And that's why a lot of tag teams suck. And that's why they lose a lot of matches, because they don't work as a unit. So like whenever I got her in the ring, you know, and we get in the ring together, it's always about tag team and flowing and tagging in and out and making sure that we're both putting damage on the person. You know, she has her strong suits and I have my strong suits. Just because she's a woman doesn't mean she can't fight. Obviously she could fight. So, you know, us being together and being able to talk, I mean, before we have a match, we're coming up with moves and combinations and ways to get over and beat guys for weeks in advance, because we care about it and we have the time to do it, and we're together and we go on these long car rides and what are we going to talk about? You know, we listen to Stone Cold's podcast, you know, but whenever that runs out, I mean, it's time to get to work. You know, you always have to be working if you really want to be successful at this. Even sitting in the car, you can work on your craft, you know, and me and her, we do that together. And I mean, to talk about it just a little bit more, the way she helps me a lot is she helps me with, you know, I take a lot of time and I watch a lot of wrestling and I come up with spots and moves and combos, you know, that I think will benefit us, will help us win the match, you know, things that fit her, things that fit me. And she helps me with, you know, promotion and putting myself out there and gear and ideas and creative. That's really where she thrives. So like,
she's amazing at like that girl can gets herself out there constantly. Yeah.
And it was like that when I met her, and that's one of the reasons why I liked her, you know, because she was very proactive and there was a lot of movement. And ever since I've met her, my life has been that way too. Really, since we started wrestling, we've both just been moving. And that's something that I've also learned from her. You always that's that New York mentality that she's got, you know. I'm like that laid back Miami guy. I like to go to the beach, you know what I mean? I like to go fishing. I like to chill. I like to hang out, have some drinks, all that stuff. But
she keeps you focused.
Yeah, she got that drive, you know. She's like, hey man, it's time to put your foot on the gas and get to work. So yep. It's a great relationship. It really is.
So you were talking earlier, you just recently went through a gimmick change. You used to be the outlaw, now you're certified. What brought that about, and what's this new gimmick about?
Okay. So I'll shoot with you a little bit.
Well, getting the truth.
Getting the truth.
So, you know, when you get into professional wrestling, especially someone like me, I had taken that time apart where I wasn't a fan. So I wasn't a mark when I got in. I was just a guy that was following his girlfriend. I was a mark for my girl to be a wrestler, right? So I follow her in there, and we don't know anything about the business. So usually the first location that you land at is usually where you end up sticking. And usually everything that you hear from the people that are there is what you believe is correct. Because you haven't seen anything else, you don't know. That's like your parents in the business. If you're raised and your parents tell you, hey, the sky is green or whatever, you're going to believe it's green until you realize on your own that it's not, because that's the only direction that you have. So, I mean, it was my original trainer. He said that I should do this gimmick. He suggested it to me. I had always, you know, wanted to do the blue hair when I got back into wrestling, because I used to do the blue hair when I did amateur wrestling. So I wanted to come back with the blue hair. And then, you know, I had a bunch of ideas for gimmicks and things in mind that I wanted to do. And he's like, oh, why don't you be a cowboy? He was probably ribbing me. But me being a very confident person, you know, and a strong-willed man, and I'm not going to let anybody push me around. But I knew that through hard work and through dedication, I could succeed in no matter what I did. So I said, you know what, that's fine. I will be the blue-haired cowboy, and I'll go out there and I kill it. And that's what I did. But I had gotten to a point where I started to feel like I don't know. It's like, sometimes you can't be afraid to give up the good and go for great. Mm-hmm. So I felt like for the longevity of my career, I had to be something that was more true to myself. And I am from Miami, 305 till I die, born and raised Miami boy. I am certified. I grew up in the streets of Miami. I was fighting in the streets of Miami when I was a young age, fighting for money, fighting in school for money, doing mixed martial arts. I've been certified. That's what the gimmick is. I'm certified from the streets of Miami. I've been kicking ass since day one. I got into amateur wrestling because of that. And now I'm in professional wrestling because of the same thing. Really, at the end of the day, this is a business, this is a career, but I love to fight. And that's why I'm in professional wrestling, because I love contact. I love physical contact. I love combat sports, and wrestling was able to just let me do that to the fullest of my ability. And I'm just so excited to see where things are going to go. And I'm certifying every company, everybody, every opponent that I work, everybody's getting certified. I'm handing them out. Everybody's getting a stamp. So that's what it's all about.
Well, I love it. I love it.
And I would agree with that too. We were talking before the show. The best gimmicks are the gimmicks that are you turned up 1,000. And I've caught some of your matches as the Outlaw, and you're great. You're great in the ring. You're great on all of it. But I could tell exactly what you're saying. It's almost like a limit with that character because it's just not quite right. Yes. And I can see your passion through this camera for the Certified Luke Kurtis. Like,
and you weren't afraid to go above and beyond.
Yes. And at the end of the day, it's true. I'm legit, bro. I don't need a title. I don't need anybody to shake my hand. I don't need people throwing roses at me. I'm a badass. And that's just the end of it. I'm certified, and in the ring, out the ring, anybody could get it anywhere. And I don't need an opportunity. I don't need a belt. That'll come. I will be draped in gold, but I don't need it to be certified. And that's what it's all about.
In talking, you've only been doing this for about 1.5 years. One of the major promotions that comes up for you in looking at you is ARW, Revolution Wrestling. Talk about them and how they have meant so much to you as far as your career so far.
Okay, so ARW, it's a company that I'm recently started working for. It was actually the first time that I debuted the new gimmick, so I was very thankful that they let me do that. They let me come out there and really just, express who I wanted to be. And they're a growing company in Florida, and they're with Fight TV. They have a lot of big names on the show. Matt Cardona. Oh, yeah. Mark Cardona's a worker. The Headbangers. You have Ascension.
New Game Changer Wrestling champion. New Game Changer Wrestling world champion.
Yes, and ARW's goal right now is to be more extreme, and they're moving into that direction as Game Changer. And I believe that. And I also felt like this gimmick would fit that better because, pro wrestling is getting to the point where fans want to see guys go out there and lay it all on the line.
Right.
Legit, real combat, not that hokey stuff that they show and they've been showing for years. People don't want to see that all the time. It's only a small place for that now. Now it's combat. That's why Game Changer is so big, because the guys are beating the hell out of each other and they have passion and you could see that, because you can't fake that. You cannot fake that type of brutality, that type of intensity, that type of combat. It's a very fine line between shoot and work when you get into that, and the fans can feel that. And if guys work more like that, I think that the business will succeed, and it'll continue to grow. So I think that ARW is in a good spot to make some noise, and I'm just glad that I get to be a part of it. So I'm very thankful for that.
So we were talking before you were mentioning how wrestling's turning more hands-on. We were talking about Texas wrestling. We were talking about how, and Will, you and me have had this discussion too, and how down here wrestling's a little different. Texas is almost its own little circuit in itself. Of course. We tend to go more with a how you say it, strong style.
To me, Texas is the originator of strong style. And when you look at it at the end of the day, not only are the guys in that style of wrestling, a lot of females were also brought up in that style of wrestling, i.e. Barbie Hayden, who I love. I'm just retired from the sport some time ago. But Ember Moon, yeah, she was same place at Booker's, strong style wrestling. And you get spoiled on it because and there's a reason why. And I'm going to go off record. This is the reason why I don't like Santana Garrett. Flippy, hair bouncy. Yeah. Bump that. Hit somebody, doggone. Yes. Hit somebody. And I even told Santana Garrett one time on her Instagram page, "Hey, look, I never will be a fan because the way you wrestle." She said, "Well, she took it like a woman." She said, "Well, that's everybody has a right to their own opinion." But I that's the wrestling that I like. That's the style that I like. I don't like all this flippy good guy, puppy dog and pigtails. I don't like none of that. Go in there, talk trash and hit somebody.
Yes. I agree with you. And being out in Texas, and I worked for SWE Fury a few times, one of the premier companies in Texas.
Yep.
And I felt that very quickly from the first time that I stepped in the ring with somebody. I worked for the first time. Niles Plunk, he's a wine man out there, and from the first time you get in the ring, you could feel the intensity. And then when you start working, it's much different. The guys are not going up, so the plan of attack changes because when the guy goes up, he's not going up anymore.
Right.
The guys are just you. If you're on the ground, they're coming over and they're getting on top of you, and they're laying the fist to you. Nobody's going up to the top rope to do a 450. You don't have time to lay there. They're in your face all the time, so you have to always be on your guard. It's as close as it gets to a real fight in Texas, and I felt that multiple times when I was there. I worked Blood Hunter. I don't know if you know who that is. He's the mask on. He's always looking for blood. I worked him, and Sabu came out, interfered.
Oh wow!
So just like the hardcore legends are like in Texas, and they're out there ready to work.
Well, and SWE Fury pulls in those legends. They just manage to always have a stacked legend card of guys that can still go.
I know it, and I know ACW got some issues, which we detailed a couple months back. But that's what really got me spoiled. Anarchy Championship Wrestling, that really got me spoiled. You go back, look at Rachel Summerlin. Go back, man, ACH. Back then in the day. Rachel.
He used to be. He got soft.
Yeah, but good grief, Rachel was fighting dudes. And that was just the most amazing thing to me. And it got me spoiled for what is to come. And strong style wrestling is what I've always appreciated about the business. Always.
Yes, I think that you need a mix. You need a mix, and nobody has probably perfected it yet, but you need that good mix of that strong style wrestling, and you need to be able to entertain the people.
Don't get me wrong. Spots sell. Spots are great, but
some of them are.
Yeah. I agree.
Yes,
yep.
But when you get to a point when it's spot,
it's too much.
You overblow your audience, and now they're not reacting to the small stuff because you've overstimulated with spot.
Yes.
When you get those great ground and pound old school style wrestling matches, the true fans love those matches. They do.
Yes.
Because it makes them remember why they became fans of this sport in the first place. We're never going to get back to the days of Hogan and what it was in the 80s and 90s, but those type of matches get us as close as possible.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. How do you in ACW and Texas in general, Texas wrestling in general brought this up? How do you feel about intergender matches?
Intergender matches.
I was going to ask this question too because you're a mixed tag guy, and I was wondering.
I have no problem with intergender matches. I don't. I feel like I used to maybe have a problem with them, but I mean, it depends, man. It depends. It depends. It depends.
Do you think it depends on the female wrestler or?
I think it's how it's done.
It's how it's done because I mean, look at China and who was it? Jeff Jarrett.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just, oh man, I don't know. The business has changed, man. The business has changed. Intergender matches are fine. I mean, I get in the ring with my girl and we work intergender tag matches, and I told her people ask us if we have matches all the time. People always want to buy matches of me and her together. So people want to see us work, and I have no problem working her. And I told her that all the time. I mean,
is that a custom we can buy? Is that a custom we can buy?
I would pay to see that.
I would pay for that. I really would.
Yeah, I really
would. Talking to you both, That would be an amazing match.
Yes.
It is going to be out. It's going to be out very soon. It's going to be a custom match. We're going to do a few of them. So yes, there's no problem with intergender matches, and I'll show you exactly how they're supposed to be done whenever we have our match together.
Well, and I mean, she's no longer able to do it, but back a few years ago, Candice LeRae was killing it with the intergender.
She was. I mean,
they were her and God, was it? Shoot, now the name is gone.
Did she do one with Cedric Alexander?
Cedric Alexander. She did one with Orange when he was coming up. But it can be done. Now, as you said, it's all about how it's done. And a big name company has not figured out how to do it right. And personally, I don't know if national TV, you're going to be able to do it right.
No, I feel like that's for the like a select group of wrestling fans. You got to know your audience, man. Like if you guys came to a show, you guys, even if you didn't like intergender, I don't know, maybe if you didn't like them, that's different. But if me and Leila got in the ring and we worked a match and we worked it the right way and we showed intensity and we showed heart, you guys would enjoy the match. And I know that for a fact. Yeah. So, I mean, you guys are, but we're wrestling fans. So like, of course we're going to love to see people that want to go at it and want to show heart and passion and energy and put some art together for the people to see. But a lot of national TV wrestling fans are not connoisseurs of the art of pro wrestling. They're fans of the entertainment,
not the wrestling.
Yeah, so they would miss it. They wouldn't understand it the way
I'm telling you.
It's about warriors going to battle. That is what for me, that is wrestling. So a guy or girl, it does not matter if she's got what it takes to step in the ring with me and go toe to toe. God bless her, bro.
That's what makes me more on a gladiatorial level. And when back in gladiatorial days, men went against women. There was no gender gap there.
No gender bias.
I like
that.
I believe that a woman can step in and have a better match than a man because I've seen it. I've watched it.
I know now. I know. Now
the not all about the strength. There is so much a psychology to wrestling that most people don't understand. And if you have that psychology mastered, there's no one that can stop you.
I know plenty of guys. I know plenty of guys now the Rose can beat.
You ain't lying. I mean, there's a lot of strong women. You know, I was trained. I trained a few times with La Rosa Negra.
I was gonna ask. That's how I met Leila. Was Mission Pro. And I've seen her wrestle there, and I go to Mission Pro shows all the time. And she's no joke, man.
We did a week-long training camp with her, and she gave it to us, man. And like, you know, I was one of the top guys in there. So she was really on me pretty hard. And, you know, like, you know, she's showing like a chop. And one of the new guys, you know, they do a little chop and it's like nothing. And then she's like, like this. And then she turns and she chops the shit out of me. I'm just standing in line. I'm just standing there like this, like, watching the lesson. And she's like, like this. And she turns and I'm like, oh my God. So she's a tits, man. She brings it. Like,
man.
How can you say that she's not worthy to be in the ring with a man?
Right.
I mean, like, and I know the woman, and I mean, like, she go to toe with anybody, and I know that for a fact. You know, I've seen it. You know.
The first Mission Pro show I went to was because of a friend of both of ours, Luke, and that is Roberto Rodriguez. And he actually I won it because I was on a show. He got me in, and like he introduced me to Leila, introduced me to Nyla. So I got slap chopped by Nyla, La Rosa Negra, and Polydead. All in about a 30-minute time frame.
Look, I just begged them to make sure my boy came back alive. That's all I did. Just make sure my boy come back alive, man.
So
come on, man.
He's here to tell the tale.
Yes,
I'm here to tell the tale.
Yes,
it is no joke taking slap chops from those three women. Like, and I've gone back and watched the video from Nyla on a couple of occasions, watching that hand hit my chest. Still. He
got PTSD.
I could just imagine your chest like going. As she hits you, you were probably like,
oh man. Now I want to ask you this too. I'm gonna bring up another name that got her started in ACW. Mia Yim. She did. She started in ACW, but then she took a trip to Japan, I believe. Came back a completely different wrestler. Same thing with Leva Bates. Couldn't do anything when she first got in the business. Took a trip to Japan and just came back awesome. What do they instill in you over there that changes you so much?
Well, I don't know. I haven't been to Japan.
But I know Layla's goal is to go, and that brings me, is that your same goal?
I would like to go to Japan, but I need a passport. I don't have a passport yet. But
I'm supposed to be going to Canada in September, not happening.
But I mean, in Japan, I think it's that strong style, and I don't know. I feel like I would definitely fit in there because I just know that I have that at heart. But maybe some of the guys that are from here, they go over there with the mentality that it's going to be very similar to this, and I'm sure it is in certain ways, but I know that their training is very intense. Whenever you go over there and you train in their dojo, you know, you have to train in their dojo before they let you on TV a lot of the times.
Wow.
And they work you out. They work you out very, very, very hard. A lot of guys, you know, go over there and they can't even do 100 squats, and they'll have their rookie beginner guys doing 300 squats, no problem. Just so push-up squats or calisthenics is very good. They're just I feel like they still have like a code of honor. And it's funny because isn't that always how you like you put Japan in your mind? For me, it is because samurais and things like that. Like it's always about honor for them, and even in pro wrestling, it's very much the same. They are an honorable group of men and women, and they take it very serious, and I appreciate that about them. I very much do.
I think that is what it is. That
what was that?
A bug. There's a bug.
Bug trying to dive on the base.
So you think they're more? So we're looking at a difference in the training mentality over there versus here, because here we're maybe focused more on the.
It's more about the storytelling here,
right.
Than it is about the actual sport itself. I would say, as someone who just got introduced to New Japan a couple of years ago, that was one of my first things about it. Is you can just watch it and tell that there is honor and respect given to the sport by the fans, by the wrestlers, by everyone. And it makes for a different thing. And that's why you'll never get that kind of fan base to New Japan here, unfortunately, even though it's probably one of the best wrestling companies in the world. Like,
yeah, it's definitely up there with WWE, AEW. New Japan is right there. And you know, but there's also great companies here too. Like for me, one of my dreams, and this is exactly how this is probably how I want my career to go. I would love to get an opportunity with a major company now, but I really want to go through like a GCW, like a PWG, and I want to go through Ring of Honor, and that's where I really want to make my name as one of the greatest wrestlers in the world and in the country for a fact, because to me, Ring of Honor has always been the proving ground for, hey, can you get the job done or not? Are you an entertainer or are you a wrestler? You know, like, are you a phony guy or can you really go out there and it's more strong style. It's very that warrior mentality that for me, that's what I love about wrestling. I love, like you, seeing the guys just go out there and work and just give it all. And I don't need all the extra stuff to make me happy. And I love Ring of Honor because I feel like they just go out there and they deliver high intensity, high impact performances on a nightly basis, and all of their guys can work. So for me, I would love to like really go to like Ring of Honor. I feel like that's what's calling me in my heart and my soul. If I can ever find a way to get there, that's what I want to do. So I just know that I need more work, but when the time comes.
I'm going to say this and we're going to take a quick break and then come back and talk about a couple of Luke's matches that he mentioned earlier that I really want to bring up. But I would say that it's the honor of wrestling, and especially with Ring of Honor, is they're the one company that really has that. They really push that. And like you said, they have amazing workers. And us as wrestling fans, we love a good story. We do. We are fans because we want the story. But true wrestling fans also want a great match. And one thing that AEW has taught a lot of fans is that you don't have to have a story built up to not be able to tell a great story in the ring Like, sometimes that's all that matters is the story that these two people can tell in that ring.
Yeah, and I believe in that very much. I believe that the ring work should be able to tell the story, and it should be able to bring people in. You shouldn't need everything else. You don't need it you don't need it in MMA. You don't need it in all these other things. You don't need it in football. A lot of times you just need to be able to go out there and enjoy it. So guys got to figure out how to give the fans an experience that they can enjoy without a story, because a lot of the times you're going to an independent show and there is no story. Let's be honest. I mean, who follows this independent scene like that heavy?
Only the hardcore marks.
Yeah,
only hardcore. Only hardcore.
So most people don't know these storylines. So you have to find a way to translate your ring work to the fans, and that's why
fan that might just be that show for one time and astonish him and make his jaw drop.
Yes, and that is from your in-ring work, and that's why I love Ring of Honor, because I feel like if I was able to get over at Ring of Honor, I would be getting over through my work. And when you're able to get over through your work, I believe that you have longevity in the business. Because I know for a fact that I could talk, I know that I can entertain. I'm a good-looking guy. So if my ring work can draw people in, I'm gonna be gold, and that's how I feel about it.
And you brought up a good point, because that's what started me being a fan of Athena/Ember Moon when she did her match at Booker's against Kevin Kelly. Wasn't so much of the laughter and things like that. It was her ring work that got me to be a fan, and then the rest followed after.
Yeah, and Ember Moon, she's a very intense worker. I watch a lot of her matches. I still love watching her work on NXT, and she's intense, and she's got moves. She got skills, man.
Just admit it. You might be from Miami, but you like that Texas style of wrestling. Just admit it.
I do love the Texas style. That's why
Texas style, man. That's the way to go. That's the way to go.
I was good. We were gonna move to Texas originally, but I didn't feel that it was necessary. You know why? Because I could take that and I could bring it to Florida. And my goal right now is to really my goal is to be the top guy in Florida. That's my goal number one, to be the top independent guy in Florida that you want at the top of all your cards, working your best guys. So that's what I'm working for. And going to Texas and bringing some of that back here, I already believe that it's translated for me, because I get in the ring with these guys and it's just so easy for me to kick their ass because they want to do all this stupid stuff. And I'm like, that's fine. Go ahead and do that. But don't let me catch you, because once I catch you, I'm going to eat you up.
That's it.
Yep.
And you have a lot of examples you could take away, like say ACH, Scott Summers, Davey Vega back in the day. There's a lot of the classic guys. You can go on YouTube and get footage and just watch those guys and just learn from them. And I love Texas wrestling. I love it down there. Love it.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break and we're gonna come back. We're gonna talk about two matches that Lucas had in his first year and a half back that I was very surprised and excited to talk about. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Luke Kurtis.
Telling me to dance, taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance.
Up like we do. No one does us like we do. Always go hard with this crew. Welcome to the show, let's make moves. Nothing's gonna stop us, it's about to get rough. Turn the whole room up, it's never enough. Let's go, 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 let's go.
All right, guys. That is Mike Drop. That will be premiering this coming Tuesday with me and Punishing at 9 Central, 10 Eastern. All things music related. We'll be discussing that. Then that was the Sports Report After Dark. You can catch episode 2 of that Monday, 10:30 Central, 11:30 Eastern, right after the Sports Report, which is 9:30 Central, 10 Eastern. Make sure you catch up all that and everything else coming on PinFall. I'm going to jump right back into this interview with Luke. So you mentioned before you've actually locked up with one of my favorite guys, and I mentioned that he wasn't as a kid, but I've just gained so much respect for him now, and that's Carlito.
Carlito.
So
in the face of people who want he was so good, man.
He was, man, and I think in my opinion, in the E, he got a raw deal. That's just me, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Carlito's had a recent string of success. He's been booked on a lot of shows. He came back. He's done his little WWE thing. But I feel like I can take credit for that because I was one of his first matches before he came back.
Before he got back.
Oh, he got to come in and get his feet wet with me. He got in the ring with me. I said, "Hey, Carlito," I said, "It's a long fall from the top, brother." I said, "You're here with me now.
Is he still talking trash?
Yes, he is still talking trash. When I got in the ring with him, I was very, very, very young in my career. It was a blessing that I got the match. It was a gift, and I was nervous and I was ready. It wasn't even that I was nervous. I was just intense and I wanted to get in there and go. And he didn't even want to tie up with me right away. He wanted to talk. So I'm I'm ready. I'm taking steps toward him already. And he's by the rope, talking hey, not yet, get back, blah, blah, blah. So he loves to run his mouth, and that's what he does. He does best, and he's a great worker. And working with Carlito, I learned a lot. I was very fortunate. I picked up the win. You got to go back and watch the match. Maybe it was luck, beginner's luck. He slipped up a little bit. He let me catch him with something real quick. But
you said it earlier. Don't let me catch you.
Yeah, don't let me catch you. But being in the ring with him, it helped me slow down mentally. And being new in the business, you're always going very fast. And you're always looking to do the next thing. And Carlito helped me set a pace in my mind. And being in the ring with WWE guys in general, I've trained with Isaiah Scott for a day. And a private session, just me and Leila and him. And he
I was gonna bring up
and La Rosa Negra. That was the 4 people. So getting in the ring with people like that and working them and it's crazy how much they care. You could tell because their knowledge is so extensive of the business and being in there with Swerve and he's just tying me up in a pretzel and I don't really know what to do. And I just learned so much in those moments. And those are what really got me to where I'm at today, because these people, they have been there and they've done that and they've worked hard. And if you're a sponge, they're the water, man. And they'll let you absorb it and they'll give you what you need, the tools you need to continue, but you just got to get beat up a little bit before that. So you got to take that whooping and take that lesson and get better. So.
Well, and another person that you faced, and I'm going to use his non-WWE name because his WWE name sucks. And that's Eli Drake. Yeah. I talked about...
No, not Eli Drake.
Drake Wirtz, wasn't it?
Yeah, but his name is Drake Younger. Isn't it? Isn't Eli Drake?
No, Drake Wirtz. Okay. Never mind. Sorry. My bad.
Eli Drake is next level, bro.
You got to work with the guy that got blackballed by WWE.
Yes. Yeah. He Drake Younger was a big deathmatch guy before he got with WWE. He's super hardcore. If a company, he probably won't do that anymore, but company like Game Changer, something like that, he would kill over there. But he's another person that was actually the last match that I had. he's worked a few shows since his release from WWE. And I got to work him in the main event of a show last weekend. We did 20 minutes, and it was a war, man. I mean, it was a war. I'm still feeling it. I haven't worked since then because I've been recovering, working on my body, trying to get everything back together, because we just went at it with as much ferocity and as intensity as we can in that moment.
You can.
And it was a hard fought battle, and he picked up the win. But after the match, he said a few kind words about me to the crowd, and that meant the world to me. It was really for somebody like Leila and I, what really can help you in this business is when you have people that speak well for you. And generally guys get in and they go to a really good school, and their trainer has been somewhere or done something, and their trainer can talk for them. Sorry, I got low battery. And their trainer can talk for them and help them get opportunities and get to the right places. But it was the opposite for us. Our trainer tried to blackball us. He tried to reach out to every promoter in South Florida and keep us from getting booked before we had ever worked a show that wasn't his.
Wow.
So for me, it's been a grind from the bottom, and for her as well, because it's just me getting in and meeting a promoter and begging for an opportunity and hoping I get a shot, and then going in there and showing how good my work is. So when I finally have gotten to a place now where I can work a WWE guy, a former WWE guy, and there's a level of respect there, that is why I do it, because it's validation for the hard work that I put in. I've trained with Alexander Wolf. I spent a lot of time with him. He's like a mentor to me.
Wow,
and
that's something.
That's something.
Yeah, because you want to talk about a guy who never got a fair shake from the WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That is his story to tell, not mine. He's an excellent human being, and I'm sure he would not say anything bad about his former employer. But he is a great man. He's a great worker, and he has really also been somebody that has just helped things click for me. And I've come from nothing in the business and in life in general, and that's why I'm certified, bro, because because I don't need the recognition, because I know that I have the right people behind me, the right people pushing me, the right people working with me, people that want to see me succeed, and I will succeed when the time is right.
Well, you know what they say, the best heroes in the world go unsung.
Yes, this will not be an unsung story. It'll be sung, don't worry, but it just ain't being sung too loud right now. But my girl could sing. My girl could sing. If you guys didn't know, she sings my story all the time.
We're about to close this out. My last question to you is: all this, we've talked all this wrestling and everything like that, but you got to have a life outside the business. What do you do when you're not thinking wrestling? Which, in talking to you, it doesn't seem like that happens very often.
Yeah.
But when it does, what are you thinking?
Okay, so what I like to do in my spare time is like put on some music. And
what type of music?
Hip hop.
Oh yeah.
So I'll put on some hip hop. We'll put on some booty shaking music, and we'll have fun in our apartment. We'll have a drink or two. We don't drink very much. We know how to wind down pretty good. I don't want to move the camera, but since I'm outside, I'm gonna show you guys real quick. I got my grill here.
There you go.
So I like to cook. So I'm the chef of the house. I'm always trying to make sure we got some healthy meals in order. And we like to watch a little bit of TV, but not too much TV. But mostly it's mostly wrestling. And the only reason why it's like that, it's not that I don't like doing other things. I've always liked doing other things. But my trainer, I talk a lot of shit about my trainer before, but he trained me very well. And, he used to tell me, excuse my language, even though I know I cuss a lot. He told me, he's like, hey, man, if you're on the toilet taking a shit, you should be watching a wrestling match. So I've always tried to keep that instilled in my mind. I have to become like this machine in my mind to make it where I really want to make it. I have to be dedicated. If I'm spending time doing something that's not wrestling, I almost feel guilty, because I'm like, I need to be putting more effort into my wrestling career if I really want to succeed, because I cannot have any questions. If this doesn't work out, I cannot have any questions about how hard I tried and how much effort I put in, because wrestling has really been my second shot at life, like I told you earlier. And I'm very thankful for the business. I am very much in love with the business. It is my second wife, and I will take care of it for the rest of my life. And I'm just so happy to be a professional wrestler and to be able to, create something for the fans. And that's what makes me do it. And I love it so much.
Well, before we finish things up, where can people find you on social media?
So you can check me out on Instagram. That's where I post the most content. It's certified_Luke Kurtis. Twitter. Oh my God, my Twitter. I can't even think of what it is. It's _Luke Kurtis, as far as I know. But I have a YouTube channel. Just look up Certified Luke Kurtis. A lot of my old stuff is Outlaw Luke Kurtis. You can look that up too. Just search Luke Kurtis. That's with a K. You can go on Pro Wrestling Tees. You can get my shirts.
Yeah,
there you go.
Certified Luke Kurtis. I got a couple different shirts.
There you go.
But yeah, just reach out to me on social media. That's the way I'm most accessible. Sometimes I take a few days off because it's good for my mental health. But I always respond to my fans, people that want to get to know me more, want to know how to get tickets to a show, want to get merch, autograph, 8x10s, whatever you want. Reach out to me. I'm very accessible, and we can make it happen, man.
I wish everybody was like that, but it is what it is.
Luke, one last question for you. So you mentioned ROH is definitely a goal, but 5 years from now, where do you see the certified Luke Kurtis at 5 years from now?
Oh my gosh, man! 5 years from now, it's so hard to say, man. I really could not tell you where I will be in 5 years, but I know that I will be putting on 5-star matches.
There you go.
In my mind, in 5 years, you are going to see me everywhere putting in. You're going to see highlight reels because I'm athletic and I'm also kick ass. So I know that I have what it takes to go out there and be entertaining and be successful in the business. So in 5 years, you're going to see a lot of certified Luke Kurtis. And I just cannot wait to see where we'll be in 5 years, because I've spent a year training and I've spent 9 months now working. I've had 55 matches, and in 5 years I'll have 500 matches. So let's see where we're at then.
When Leila was on, I made a prediction. I said by the end of 2021 she's signed by AEW or one of those companies. I say with you, by the end of 2021 you're at least highlighting on Dark and Elevation.
Oh man.
Put it out.
We'll see. It would be a great opportunity. It really would, and I would be very thankful for it. But it is not necessary, and I promise you that. This is why I am certified. I do not need the opportunity. All I need is time. Time in the business. That's all it's going to take me. The more time that I have I'm doing everything that I need to do to succeed. So the more time that goes by, the closer that I will be to success. And I appreciate that, and I really hope that I am there. And it's very possible. It's very possible. I talked to people from there already. Leila's already there.
And I just say that as a fan that has went and watched a few of your matches, and I just say it as what I'm looking at. You're like you said, you're good on the mic, you're good in the ring. Those are the keys. And like you said, you don't need the opportunity. All you need is time. It'll happen. Yeah. But we greatly appreciate you coming on this show tonight, and talking with us. And we're going to have to get you and Leila on here together next time.
Yes, man. Yes, absolutely. We'd love to do it. We can show you a little bit of that intergender tag stuff right here on the podcast, baby.
There you go.
Oh, man. So I might be messaging you, and once that's ready, we might need to make that happen.
Yes, let's do it, man.
For real.
Let's do it.
Well, Luke, again, we appreciate it, guys. We appreciate you joining us tonight.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, guys.
And we will see y'all again next week, next Sunday, for another episode of PinFall Podcast. Check everything out on the PinFall Facebook, YouTube. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. We're going to be on Twitch very soon. My mind is blinking. You can check out everything coming for PinFall streams very soon, guys. Will, anything else?
That's it, man.
Stay certified, baby.
There you go.